Sales is ultimately questions. It's impossible to present a recommendation without asking good questions.
Welcome to this third Better Business Fireside Chat with Terry Blackburn from the Wealthy Advisors Club. In the last episode, we discussed all things recruitment. This time, we'll focus on sales and why sales is not necessarily a dirty word. Terry has built and scaled 2 mortgage and protection firms and now runs the Wealthy Advisors Club, a training community with more than 2,000 members made up of mortgage brokers, protection advisors, financial advisors and business owners. Now, sales has become a bit of a dirty word, especially since the retail distribution review. But I understand it's not necessarily a dirty word for you. Why is that?
I don't think it should be a dirty word at all. And I think part of the reason this has happened is, if you look at America, sales is quite celebrated as a career. But in this country, in the UK, I think maybe it's part of the double glazing salespeople that used to knock on your door, or car salespeople, or no disrespect to those professions, by the way, or PPI salespeople. Everyone got, hounded with those sales calls. So I think because of that, people in the UK have got a little bit fed up and painted all salespeople with the same brush. And I don't think that's fair or accurate at all, considering pretty much every business in the world has some form of selling involved in it. We all need to sell our products and services. You can still sell morally right with ethics and integrity and do the right thing by your customers.
And what do we mean when we talk about sales in a financial planning context? Can you just define that for us, and also kind of describe what a good sales process looks like?
So sales is ultimately communicating with the customer, with the client, identifying needs, objectives, goals, and all of that, regardless of the product that you sell, and presenting some form of solution to their problem. And whether the problem is they want to pay off the mortgage by a certain time, they want the children and the family to get a lump of money through protection, or they want to retire at a certain age with a certain amount of money, whatever their sort of problems or objectives or goals are, you present the solution in such a way. So that's what I mean by sales from a financial planning or financial services perspective. It's having a conversation, communicating well with your customer, identifying needs, problems, objectives, presenting a solution that solves the needs, that's right for them and their family to achieve their objectives. That's what I mean. And in terms of a sales process, could go quite granular on this, but I'll break it down into 6 steps. Step 1 of any sales process, in fact, in any industry, not just financial services, but we'll focus on financial planning and financial services. Introduce yourself, because you only get a first impression how many times? Once, yeah. And some people make their mind up about somebody very, very quickly. So you've got to introduce yourself in a certain way. You've got to show authority, give them a good perception of you, and ultimately they've got to believe and think that you can solve the problem. You can get them to the solution or to the objectives that they want, right? Then you're asking good questions. Sales is ultimately questions. If you cannot give someone proper, accurate financial advice, if you haven't asked questions, if you don't know where they want to get to and where they currently are, what the issues are right now, the income, the financial situation, it's impossible to present a recommendation without asking good questions. Then before you present your recommendations, you summarize the client's situation. So step 3 is summarize. So you're basically relaying the client's problems and situation back to them just to confirm, Carmen, this is where you are. This is your objectives. This is your current income levels. This is your savings. This is your pension, whatever. Then you present your recommendations. And in this piece is where some people would call this selling, yeah, because you're presenting a solution, a recommendation. But what often happens here is advisors will overdo it here. They'll over talk. Of course, there's certain things you have to say from a compliance perspective, but if you over talk and overdo it and over explain your recommendations to a client, a lot of clients will get overwhelmed and they'll get a bit confused and they'll say, Terry, can I think about it? Can you email my recommendations over? It's because they don't understand a lot of the time. Then you go to pull the rug. So step 5 is pull the rug. So what that means is you show them the recommendations, but you explain to them, because it's true that not everybody can have this mortgage product or this protection product or this financial planning solution, because it's right. Some are application only, some you have to qualify for medically or financially. So by pulling the rug, just by simply telling them this is what I advise, but you might not be able to get it, it's true, but also it increases desire. So FOMO is a real thing. When people think that I might not be able to get this thing, it increases the desire for them to have the thing. So you increase FOMO and increase desire by saying you might not be able to get this recommendation, whatever it is. And the last step is you go to the close. And this isn't a pushy close. This isn't a hard sell. You simply present options. And when you present options to a client, instead of saying, this is my recommendation, would you like to go ahead? It's, you can have this recommendation or that recommendation, Mr. Customer. Which one would you prefer? The client is in control. They're picking, aren't they? So they don't feel like they're being sold to. And if you follow those logical 6 steps, introduce yourself, ask good questions, summarize, present your recommendations, pull the rug and close, clients won't feel like you're hard selling them because you're not. You're solving problems, you're doing a proper job by your customer there.
And generally speaking, how can advisors get better at sales, do you think? What are the kind of issues you're seeing?
Ultimately, practice. That improves your ability, your skill in anything, right? But ultimately, people don't buy from people who they don't like. People buy off people they like, typically. Everyone's probably heard that phrase, people buy people. So you've got to be likable as a starting point. Even if you're fantastic at giving advice, but the client doesn't like you for whatever reason or another, then some people won't trust or take that advice properly. So you've got to carry yourself and conduct yourself in a certain way so that you're engaging, you're likable, you're showing trustworthy and credibility and authority and all of these things, because they're not even going to listen to your advice properly in many cases if they don't like you. So I teach a principle which is called like, listen, trust, buy. So they've got to like you first, because when they like you, they'll start to listen to what you've got to say. When they're listening to you, you're going to say the right things, which gains trust. Then and only then will they buy. And you can't skip those steps, so you can't go to trust without them listening or like you. You've got to follow that step. So sales is questions. Get good at asking good questions. I teach like how you can use your voice. So if you listen to my voice, I teach 6 tonality types. So if I was speaking to you like this, Carmen, I probably would have lost you and the audience. If I was monotone, but again, your tonality is how someone interprets your words. So this is communicating, this is selling, this is a form of speaking to clients, right? You're using your tonality, using cadence, using pauses at certain times. If you want someone to focus on a word, you pause before and after it, and then they focus on the word. So again, if you want your clients to focus on a particular word or phrase that you're saying in your financial planning meetings, you need to learn this stuff because it's more powerful. Your clients trust you more, they listen to you more intently, and ultimately you can get them the objective, which is what this whole thing is about. You get them to where they want to be financially by offering products and services that get them to where they want to be. But if you can communicate them in such a way where the clients really understand them, they like you, they trust you, you will without a doubt scale your business.
So how important is it for advisors to get this right, to really upskill in sales?
It's imperative. It's imperative. If you think about what we do as financial planners, financial advisors, mortgage brokers, whatever you call yourself, ultimately what we do is we find people through our marketing and our lead generation, and then we sell to those people. We advise those people on whatever it is that you do. That ultimately is the job. If that is the career. If you boil it down and simplify it, it's finding people and selling to those people. So it's a big chunk. It's a big chunk of this. So the impact on getting it right is huge. You could go really granular with this and boil it. Look at things like the value of each customer. Again, there's if you're looking after high net worth individuals and obviously non-high net, then of course there's going to be a value difference. But even if someone who's really good at sales, right, an advisor who's really good at sales against an advisor who's not very good at sales, not very good at communicating, you could give them the same client, the same opportunity, the same prospect, and not only would they probably sell more, that the non-salesperson might not even sell, but they would sell more, they would get more repeat business, the retention of that client would be better, and typically they would sell more products, they would sell ancillary products, upsells, cross-sells. Of course, morally doing the right thing by the client, you don't sell things that they don't need, but my point being, not only will you drive in more revenue, you'll retain your clients better, each client will be worth more to you because of the lifetime value with the customer and the initial value with the customer, because you'll be able to sell multiple products. You get more reviews online, you get referrals start to come to you, word of mouth, because you're doing a better job by the clients. Honestly, the knock-on effect of getting this communication thing right is huge. And you could even I would even go as far as saying it will help you outside of financial services. Because if you can communicate better, you can communicate better with your friends, your family members, your children. I've got 4 children, right? You have to persuade your children to go to bed, to eat the dinner. It's a form of communicating. It's honestly, it's one of the most valuable skills and attributes you can get for every part of your life, not just financial services. It's huge.
Excellent. Great stuff. Thank you very much. It was really, really good to talk to you again. And thank you for watching. Please tune in for our final episode next week, when we'll be exploring effective marketing strategies for advisors. Goodbye.